Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. You can already tell by the title, but I'm going to be sharing with you guys baby names that we loved or love or liked, names that we're interested in or were interested in for this baby. I'm currently almost 34 weeks. I will be 34 weeks tomorrow, actually. So at this point, we have a name for the baby. We have a name sign that has finally been ordered, coming home outfit that has his name on it. So I won't be sharing that name until he is born. And also, I won't be sharing any names that we will probably be considering for our next child, whether that be a boy or a girl. If you're new here, like I said, I'm 34 weeks pregnant, basically tomorrow, and I'm currently expecting our second child, which is another boy. We have a 4-year-old little boy already, but I thought that it would be fun to share with you guys the names that we were thinking about for this pregnancy, names that, you know, we've heard and thought were interesting. I have a list on my phone, so I will share that. I don't know, I'll do girls first, I guess, because they're first on my phone. And like I said, I think these are names that I've liked and I loved. I still probably do love some of them, most of them, and names that my fiance also likes. So it's a combination of the both of us. So at the top of my list, the first one, no particular order or anything, but just how I'm reading them off. The first one is Charlotte. Oh, no offense if I do say a name that you guys have named your kids or you are named this or anything. I'm not saying I don't like the name, just saying it didn't work for us and this baby, and obviously the girl names did not work for this baby because we're having a boy. So like I said, number one was Charlotte. I actually was never a fan of this name until I was pregnant with this baby, and I've just been hearing it a lot lately, and I thought it was such a cute and timeless name. For a nickname, you could do like Char, Charlie, or Letty. I like the idea of doing Letty because my grandma and my aunt were both Betty, and both of them had passed away. So if this was a girl, Letty is kind of like a play on Betty and kind of like an homage to them. But Brandon absolutely does not like that name at all, so that was totally out if it was a girl. The second one is Mallory, another name he does not like. I would spell it M-A-L-E-R-I-E. For me, I actually know people that know people with this name. One of our friend's sisters is named Mallory. I think it's spelled differently. But for me, it was a combination of one of my aunts who passed away, and then my other grandma's name. So it was a combination of that. He does not like that name, and honestly, having Mason already as an M and an A name, like Brandon and Brittany both BRs, I wouldn't do Mason and Mallory. I don't want to have the two B's, the two M's. So that's kind of also why that name would not be used for our next child if it was the girl. But I do like the fact that it would be kind of like a family name. The next name is the name that I absolutely love, and that is Everly. Again, Brandon does not like that name at all. Another name for a baby girl would be Milena and Adriana. Both of those he doesn't like, but I like. And also these are names I wouldn't really consider for our next child, but they're names that I think are really pretty, girly, not the most popular, but also not the most unique. Just really pretty names. The next one is Kenna, which means fireborn. I think Kenna is so cute, so unique, little fiery, feisty girl. Brandon again doesn't like it. So you'll notice he doesn't like a lot of these names. He's really picky, like more picky than I am, but I don't know, like they're just cute names. Like I said, girl names are so easy, so that's why I have like 100 of them. This next name is one that like we honestly did consider using. We did consider using for if we ever had a daughter, but I'm just not sold on it. Brandon absolutely loves it, but like I said, I'm not sold on it. And that name is Cora, C-O-R-A. I think it's unique and cute, but I just don't think it goes with like our family, and I just can't picture calling like my daughter Cora. The next name is Penelope, and I think that Penelope is so cute. Brandon doesn't like it, and the reason I wouldn't use it is because of Kourtney Kardashian. Like she has her son Mason and her daughter Penelope, and I don't know, I just don't want people to think like I'm copying her in that sense. And Brandon, like I said, does not like that, but I think that the name or like the nickname Penny is so cute. Sorry, I have to like adjust myself here because 34 weeks pregnant, you have to get comfortable. But I think Penny is so cute. The next name that we have for a baby girl is Elena from The Vampire Diaries. That's where I've heard it, and I think it's so beautiful. I love that name. Like, I really do love it. I don't love it as much as the ones that we have for our next baby if it is a girl, but I do love the name. The next name is Hadley. Again, Brandon does not like this name. Anything like Hadley, Everly, like with a Lee on it at the end, he's not about. So just so I don't have to keep saying he doesn't like them. But I think that that is a really cute name. I wouldn't use it ever for my daughter, but it is on the list of like names that I think are cute and were like a possibility. The next name is Layla. It's a little too popular for me, but I do think it's a really beautiful name for a little girl. The next name, actually, we both like. Brandon likes this name too, but it's not a name that we would name our daughter, but it is Willow. We also have Nova, which is a name, I think it's all right, but I know someone with a dog named Nova, so whenever I hear that name, I think of the dog. And that's like also with a lot of names, is I know somebody with this name, and so I don't want to name my child that like the same name as somebody that I know or somebody that knows somebody with that name, because then that's just what I think of. Like, you know, when you hear a name and you think of that person, Nova, I think of the dog. So Nova's out, but it's a beautiful name. The next name is the name that Brandon does not like, but it's a name that I think is really cute. I wouldn't name my daughter this personally, but it's Lola. I just think it's really pretty. Another name for a baby girl is Ivy. The next name for a baby girl is Harlow. I know lots of people with this name, not personally, but like on YouTube, social media, other people that named their kids this. So just because of that, I wouldn't use it, but also because Brandon does not like the name. For a girl, we have also Cassandra or Cassandra, both with a C or a K. That's a name that I think is nice, but I wouldn't name my daughter it. I think it's a little too long. I don't really like the nickname Cassie, and Brandon doesn't like it. Another name is Autumn. We both like this name. I think Autumn is so pretty. I keep saying pretty or cute, but that's like really why they're on the list, right? Because they're pretty or cute or whatever. But that's another name that we both like. Another name that we wouldn't use for our daughter, but you know, when going through names, it was a name that I was like, oh, I like that name Autumn, and Brandon was like, oh, I like that name Autumn too. Like, that's a nice name. Another name is Aubrey. He does not like that. I wouldn't do it just because it is very popular. Another name is Colette and Violet. Both names Brandon does not like, but again, going towards like the Letty nickname with that, I think it's really pretty. I like the names Colette, Violet, pretty girl names. So the next name on the list is a name that Brandon likes, one that I'm not too fond of. When I hear it, I think of, well, the name's Lucy. So when I hear it, I think of I Love Lucy. It's just a little too classic, way too popular for me. Another name that we both like is Piper, but just one that we wouldn't use. I don't think it flows with our family, and ultimately when we have like the 3 or 4 girl names that we really do want to use for our daughter, that just wasn't one that like was loved enough to make the list. Another name's Camilla or Camila. I know people with this name, so that's why we wouldn't use it, but I think it's a really pretty name. My aunt and uncle also have a dog that's named Mila, so Camila, Mila, you know, a little too close to home, so that's another reason why. And then Brandon's just not a fan. 3 more names that Brandon likes: Alice, Addison, and then Coraline, also a play on Cora. So Coraline, Cora, I think Coraline is from a video game or a movie or something that he used to watch or play, or maybe he still does play it, to be honest, I don't know. For me, that's just, it's like Caroline, Coraline, Caroline, just not a fan. Addison, I actually really like the name, but it's just too popular. I'm hearing a lot of people naming their daughters Addison, so I just don't love it as much as, you know, he does. And also it's just not a name that the both of us love enough to keep on the top 3 or 4 for our next child. And then Alice. Alice reminds me of like Alice in Wonderland. It's another Brittany and another Lucy, just a little too classic. Another name that we both like is April. And to be honest, I would name my daughter April, I think. I think the name's really pretty. We don't love it enough, again, like I said, to name it, keep it on the top like 3 or 4, clearly, which is why I'm sharing it. But it is the name that we both like, and a name that is really pretty for a little girl. I love like the names June, April, May. Like, I just think that they're really pretty. Winter, I love winter and autumn. So the last 2 for baby girl names are Ren. That's a name that we both like, but it's just not a name that I would name my daughter. And then the last one is Tara. So I actually wouldn't do Tara just because I have someone in my family named Tara, but it is the name that we both like. Also, I just don't think like when you go Brandon, Brittany, Mason, Tara, it flows. Those are all the names that I have on here, but I always want to add more, and honestly I'm always updating the list, so we'll see. Maybe our top 3 or 4 names will change for a baby girl by the time we're expecting our next baby. Never know. But we'll move on to the boy names, much shorter than the girl names, and not as many as I can share. So let's see. Levi, I just think of Levi jeans, and I don't picture that as being my son's name ever. Brandon loves the name, he's really fond of it, but I'm just not a fan of it. The next one, or the next 2 are names that I like, but wouldn't picture calling our son. I don't think that they go with our family. And then Brandon is just like a huge no. Also, people say one of them reminds them of like a last name, so I'm like the only one that's a fan of these 2 names. But they are Austin and Parker. Austin I think is like really cute, but I just don't, like, it doesn't fit with our name. And then Parker I think is cute as well, but that's the one that people think reminds them of like a last name or just not a name in general, or so I don't know. The next name that if I didn't care what Brandon had to say, I'd probably name my child. Like, if this baby wasn't named what he is named, like, I was really pushing you guys to have him named Roman. I love the name Roman. No one else really likes it, but to be honest with you, I don't really care as much about what other people like. I care about what I like and what Brandon likes. So if Brandon did not have a say or he loved the name, I would definitely name this baby Roman. That's how much I love it, but Brandon is not a fan of it, and ultimately I do want him to love the name that he is naming his child. So that's why it's not the name of this baby and a name that we won't be using, but I absolutely love the name Roman. Another one that Brandon loves, but I actually love it too, but I have someone in my family that has someone named this name in their family, like it's an in-law, and then in their family someone's named this, but it's Hunter. We also live in New York. I just don't think it's like the most New York name. I feel like if I lived in Texas or like a southern state or something, Hunter would be so cute. And I've never heard people like around here with that name except for the little boy on my in-laws side of the family. Not my, like it's an in-law on my side of the family, not Brandon's side, if that makes sense. Like one of my cousin's wives has someone on her family, in her family, that has the name Hunter. Anyway, and then I actually heard a little boy the other day with that name too. His mom was calling him and it was Hunter. But I've just never heard that name, at least in New York. Like it's not, I don't think, a New York name. Like it's definitely something more south. So that's personally the two top reasons why I wouldn't use the name. But if I didn't have a say, Brandon would definitely name this baby Hunter, or one other name, but that one I'm actually considering for the next baby if it's a boy. So I don't want to share it, but he was really fighting for that name and Hunter. The next name on the list is Leo. That's a name that we both like, but we know someone with a dog named Leo, so that's one of the reasons why we're not using it. And I just don't think it's like, it's not that it's too short, but I like names that have the possibility to be a nickname, have a nickname in them. Like Mason, you know, we don't really have a nickname for him, but Mace. But like, what's the nickname for Leo? Lee? I don't know. I don't really like that. The next name that we have for a baby boy is a name that Brandon really likes, which is Cole. I'm actually very surprised that he likes that name. It's a name that I brought up to him, not one that I'm a fan of, but when I was going through like the list, he said that he liked that name. Another name for a baby boy, which is actually the name that we considered naming Mason before we decided on Mason, is Ezra. And both of us really loved that name when we were pregnant with Mason, but nobody else liked it. And ultimately we just loved Mason and loved Mason more. But it was definitely a possibility for him. Like, can you picture calling him an Ezra? And ultimately we can't. So that's why Ezra is not on our list anymore. It is on the list of boy names, but it's not on like the top boy name list. But that was definitely an option for Mason at least, and we've just kept it on the list. Brandon still loves it. I'm not a huge fan of it anymore. Another name that Brandon likes is, or actually, the last of them basically are all ones that Brandon likes. So if you can tell, I don't like a lot of boy names. No offense, but I'm just really picky with boy names. Brandon's really picky with girl names, so it's like vice versa. But the following names are names that he likes. So Miles, which I went to school with a Miles. It's kind of why I don't like the name. Ethan, Isaac, and Lucas. I don't like that name. When I hear Lucas, I think of like Chad Michael Murray from One Tree Hill and his character. And ultimately, I was more of like a Nathan girl. I was a Nelly fan. So, yeah, when I hear the name Lucas, I just think of that. I just don't like the name. Not a fan of it. And then the last two names are names that I like. Brandon actually likes Ford, but I like that name too. But we just don't, like, he doesn't fit with our family. I think it's more of a southern name as well. And Caden. So that's the name that I like. But Brandon just does not like that name. He's not a fan at all. So those are all the names that we have on our list for a baby girl and a baby boy. You can kind of see the vibe that we go for, and yeah, lots of options. I would love to know what you guys have named your children, if you have any. I'm always like open to hearing. Not that we're gonna change the name of this baby because he does have a name. Like I said, we ordered a name sign and his coming home outfit has his name on it and everything. And his name like is definite. But I'm always interested in hearing like new names. Like I love hearing what people name their babies. I think it's so fun, and I love just watching those videos in general. So leave your comments down below of what you named your children. And again, no offense if you did name them a name that I said that we liked but just wouldn't use. And also I want to do a Q&A, so please leave your questions down below. I'm probably gonna like say that at the end of the next couple videos, and then if I get enough questions I will do like a video of it. But I want to do a Q&A of like all the questions related to having baby number 2. So whether that's if I'm nervous about Mason becoming a big brother, what I'm looking forward to with baby number 2, things I'll do different, anything related to like pregnancy and welcoming baby number 2. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe you got some inspiration from it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.